Welcome back to the Summer Activity Club. We're on week 6, and I'm so glad that you're here this week. I'm Rebecca, the Children, Youth, and Family Director at St. Paul Lutheran Church in Missoula. And I'm so glad that I've been able to spend this summer with you learning about God and how to share God's love with the world. And the best part is, we're not done yet. We still have the whole rest of the summer together. So every week from now through the end of August, I'll see you right here on this video. And in addition to this video, there are all kinds of activities for your family to do together and some activities that are just for you, just for kids. So be sure to check them all out. This week, our Summer Activity Club activities are all focused on silence. It's really hard to be silent sometimes, and so this week we're going to explore that silence and what it means to be quiet, or what in the world we might be listening for. So, join me. Are you ready to go? So our Bible story this week is from the Old Testament, and the Old Testament is full of stories that help us learn something about God. And everything in the Old Testament happens before Jesus comes. So in this story, we're going to learn something about who God is and how God works in our world. And so our story is from the book of 1 Kings. And you can read part of that story with your family this week, but we'll talk about it a little bit right now. So in this story, there's a prophet. And a prophet is someone who God uses to share God's message with the world. So there's a prophet named Elijah. And the prophet Elijah goes up to a mountain to listen for God, to figure out, where is God? And how is God going to talk to me? And so in the story, there's this big whirlwind. You can imagine like a tornado. I bet a tornado is so loud. And Elijah was expecting to find God in this big, loud, powerful tornado. But God wasn't there. So then Elijah goes back outside again, and he's waiting and waiting, and there's this big fire. And he's expecting God to be in this big, powerful, hot fire. But God's not there either. So then Elijah goes back outside and is really quiet and listens really closely and carefully. And it's totally silent. Nothing big, nothing powerful, just silence. And in that silence, Elijah feels God there. It's totally not what we would have expected. We would expect God to be in the big and powerful and loud things. But God was in the silence. So I wonder what we can learn from that story this week. Let's figure that out together. Well, one of the things that we believe as Christians is that God is everywhere. God isn't just in church or just around when you crack open the Bible. And God's not just around when we're praying. God's everywhere, all the time, with us in our everyday life. And so I wonder, how often do you just stop and listen? Where might God be in your life? This week, one of our activities is for you to go outside to somewhere that's different. So maybe you go to a trail across town, or you go to a new playground, or you go walk around a different part of Missoula. And while you're on a walk, bring with you something to write with. And stop and listen. Just be quiet, even for a few seconds. And write down everything that you hear. I wonder where God might be in those sounds. So I'm going to practice right now. And I'm inside, but I can still hear things that are outside. So I'm going to practice. Will you practice with me? We'll practice listening together. So we're only going to take a few seconds to be quiet. And in those few seconds, listen to what's around you. And I'm going to put my hands on my ears so I make sure that I'm remembering to listen. So will you do that with me? Will you put your hands on your ears? And let's just be quiet together for a few seconds and listen to what's around us. Are you ready? On your mark, get set, listen. Now that wasn't very long that we were sitting there quiet, but I heard so many things. I heard the wind through the trees. I heard my dog walking around in the yard. I heard a car go by and a truck go by. And I even heard a bird chirping. Now, God didn't say any words to me, but I heard God. I heard God in the wind. I heard God in the bird. I heard God in the car and the truck because I knew that there were people in those vehicles. God's all around us. In nature, in people, in pets and animals. It's amazing what we might hear when we stop to listen. So this week, I challenge you to put your listening ears on as much as you possibly can and hear what's going on in the world around you that you might not notice every day. And you can keep a list either once or you could do it more than once to help you notice all the places that God is in our world. And it definitely doesn't have to be in the big, powerful, loud things. It can just be in the silence or in the soft rustling of the wind. It's beautiful just to listen. So I hope you'll take some time to do that this week. Thanks so much for joining me for our Summer Activity Club video this week. It's so awesome to see you here and to see you coming back every week. Now don't forget, if you participate in the club and do the activities, even just one, make sure that you have someone snap a picture of you and send it to me so that I can enter your name into the drawing for the July prize. Now, I don't know if you remember our video from last week, but I picked 2 names, one from the little kids group and one from the big kids group, to have a prize for participating in the Summer Activity Club. And I would love to put your name in the hat for that next month. So make sure that you have a picture taken of you and sent to me with your activities. I'm so excited that we're on this summer journey of learning about God and how to share God's love with the world. And I'm really excited to spend some time being quiet this week and listening for God. I hope you are too. I'll see you next week. Bye, friends.